In this video, I'm going to show you how to tie an Alice pouch onto the pistol belt in the absence of Alice clips. Now, this is really going to rely on you having the eyelets available. Now, this isn't really necessary if you have it between pouches. The in-between pouches can just be simply run through and secure it on the pistol belt. But, you know, in getting a knot, I would really recommend that you go ahead and run it through an eyelet in order to protect it, because it will come in handy for directing the cord to be up against the pouch rather than up against your body and the pistol belt, between a rock and a hard place, as it were, and either wearing your clothing or wearing the knot. Now, I recommend using 550 cord, but I'm using shoelace just for demonstration purposes. It's basically the same. You pull out the inside of the 550 cord, and there you go. You got good cordage. Burn the ends so that you can actually thread it through quite easily, because as you thread it through things without burning the tip and making a hard tip, it will fray it and make it just more difficult for you progressively as you go through it. So we're going to count on there being at least one eyelet, so we can at least thread through one side. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to thread it through the belt. And again, we're talking about protecting it a bit. So the pouch, when you use the eyelet, will protect the cordage, and I recommend that you make sure the cordage is as even as possible so you can get a good knot that I'm going to show you at the end. So make sure that it's nice and even. There we go. And what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to actually thread it through the top, and this is going to keep downward tension and keep it from actually, or upward tension, so it actually pulls up instead of sagging down. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side with this end as well. And again, we're going to even up the cordage. Now, what you're going to do is you're simply going to thread it through. You're going to run it through like so, basically the same way that you did before, and run it just like so. And this will provide good tension when you do tie the knot. Another benefit to this is you're minimizing the exposure of the cordage up against your body, where this is going to try to move a little bit. Unless you have a pad, this is going to move a bit against your body, and it is going to cause more friction. But that's where the Alice clips actually will last a bit longer. Even though they're up against your body like this, it's not really wearing all that much, but there is cases where this actually did get pulled out because of tension on this part right here that slides up and down. So yeah, this was one of the issues with the Alice clips. This is a completely new one, so it's a bit stiff, but use it and it starts wearing. So we're going to make a simple knot first and make sure that it is nice and tight. And there you go. Form a square knot if you wish, and tie both of them on themselves. I went ahead and went back through and tightened the bottom portion here before tying the knot, just to kind of show you that you guys can get this pretty rigid. And you're going to want to make sure that you tie it really tight, at least the first knot, and then when you're going to make a square knot, you want to hold the bottom little cross knot, I guess you could say. That way it keeps good tension. Now, over time, you are going to have to probably untie it and then tie it back up. And I recommend keeping the full length of the cordage just rolled up and tape it. And it shouldn't see all that much wear, but use like electrical tape or something and just tape it up, so when you do have to take the tape off and retie it to make sure that it's nice and tight, that you're able to do so. Now, some people, you see a little bit of movement here, right? Well, when you actually put on this belt, there we go. So when you actually put on this belt, it's not going to move much because your body's going to cause a bit of curvature, so it's really not going to move much. It will be very tight, but it is on you to actually tie this knot tight. That's your job. And then just roll it up at the end and use some electrical tape. Just folding it in half should be good enough. It's not going to expose or anything. It's not going to be a big deal, and tape is not really going to wear all that much. But by the time the tape does wear, you're probably going to have to go in there and tie it back down and use a little more electrical tape to bind it back up again. But this is a good option if you do not have Alice clips, or the Alice clips are really bothering you and you don't necessarily want to pad the belt with like an isomat, or you can't do that just yet. But you do have options other than these original Alice clips. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys have a good one.